Zepada, Farmer, post-fight thoughts. Let's go.
Push the weight and now flex. Flex alive is one in the six. With the runner boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan Bronze on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. This was a lot closer than one would imagine. A whole lot closer than one would imagine, right? Wow. What can I say, man? Y'all saw it. You guys saw it. Shout out to Tevin Farmer. He wasn't even picked to win this fight. I get it. Zepada was picked to win this fight. You know, he's on the roll right now, undefeated, whatever have you. And he was picked to, you know, pretty much overwhelm and out-hustle and possibly stop. I don't know what the actual odds were, but they picked him to beat Tevin Farmer by stoppage. They did. And didn't work out that way. Sure didn't. Zepada came in being Zepada, applying pressure. And at times he was throwing caution to the wind. And then something happened. I forget which round it was. Was it round 5? I forgot. But he threw a lazy punch and Tevin rolled it. And bop, dropped him. Clean shot. And everyone jumped up like, oh, yeah. In other words, Tevin, in a lot of spots, was outboxing Zepada. He was outboxing him. In certain parts of this fight, he was having his way with him. Now, when it got to round 10, one thing I understood was that Zepada was fighting on all gears. He was fighting with urgency. He was fighting like, hey, man, this gets to the cards. They'll give it to him. And look, the fight was close. Am I going to call it a robbery? No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. The fight was close. Tevin was a little gassed at the end. He ate a little more shots than I would like to have seen him eat. I don't want to see fighters eat any shots if they're trying to like be dominant, you know. But you know what I'm saying. He ate a lot of shots towards the end because he was fatigued. He was. Robbery, no. If he had got the nod, would it have been a robbery against Zepada? No. Zepada got the nod. Was it a robbery? No. I don't think it was a robbery. But what I am saying is this fight was a hell of a lot closer than people would have thought. And not to undermine Tevin, he did a wonderful job. I think he'll be back in the mix. I think he needs to be more vocal at 135 since it's wide open. You know what I mean? The reason why I'm putting emphasis on this performance right here is because as good as Tevin Farmer is, most people looked at this and said, hey, man, if William Zepada had a nightmare, because this was a scare for him, he could have lost his fight. If William Zepada looked like this versus Tevin Farmer, what is he going to do with Shakur? Now, we don't do triangle theories. I get it. But we can't help but to wonder because everyone is looking at this and saying, hey, man, I think Shakur's more of a superior boxer. Where Tevin was getting touched, Shakur might not get touched. Might not get touched. And just like we're thinking, okay, well, if he had all the heading in the world versus Farmer, then Zepeda's going to get washed versus Shakur. Not so fast, man. Not so fast. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let me ask you guys a question, and just drop a name in the comments section. Name a fighter that Shakur's fought that's like William Zepeda. Just go ahead and name him. You see, the reason why I'm bringing this up, and before people start firing off names, I want you to think about something. There's a man named Vasily Lomachenko, whom in his second pro fight fought Orlando Salido. And I'm telling you, Orlando Salido was not picked to even be competitive in that fight. And there was something about that man's style that Vasily, with all that footwork that he has, and Vasily is a mean dude. When he got you hurt, he tries to get you out of there. He couldn't do anything with Orlando Salido. You know why? Salido made it a dogfight. He didn't try and outbox the guy. If I remember correctly, he said screw the weight too. He came in overweight and all kinds of weird stuff. But like some of you say, skills pay the bills, right? Well, talk to Orlando Salido about skills paying the bill, because Vasily Lomachenko has a higher skill set than Orlando Salido. But Orlando Salido kept catching him in that triangle, beating him on the ropes. He made it a dogfight. Could Shakur outbox Zepeda? Absolutely. But what happens if Zepeda closed the distance and starts making it a dogfight, which is what he did with Tevin Farmer this evening? That's exactly what he did. There were spots where he said, I can't box this guy. I'm going to make it a dogfight. He did the best he could. But boxing went out the window and he started fighting. And when Tevin started to fight him back, he wasn't getting the best of those exchanges. I'm just telling you what I saw. I'm just telling you. Now, I wouldn't have been mad if Tevin got the nod, because I believe, if I remember correctly, y'all, it was a split decision, was it not? The fight was close. But you know what I learned? Two things. Y'all can say, oh, if Tevin, he's a superior boxer, boxers give Zepada problems, then Shakur is going to box his face in. No. Look at it like this. That could be. It could be an easy night for Shakur. It could be. But you ever considered that maybe Zepada knows how to handle boxers also? And it won't be a cakewalk like you thought it would be? You learned two things tonight. You're paying attention to one and not the other. You learned two things tonight. You're paying attention to one and not the other. I'm going to say it one more time. You learned two things tonight. You're paying attention to one and not the other. The other one's going right over your head. You learned that it's possible. You can outbox Zepada. But what you're not considering is that he knows how to fight boxers. Please consider that. Now it's boxing. Shakur could go in there and box his face off and make him quit in the corner for all I know. But as far as better footwork and things of that nature, Tevin had the better skill set. But Zepada outfought him. And what do we always say? Shakur don't want to exchange. He don't want to exchange. He's not going to stand there. Right? He's not going to stand there. He's not going to stand there and let you do what you want to do. But what happens when Zepada figures that out and says, you know what? I'm going to catch him in that triangle that Stormy B-Man always talks about. I'm going to catch him on that rope. So I'm going to make him fight me. We've never seen Shakur in a gunfight. We've never seen it. And what happens when he gets caught in an exchange? It happens. What made, okay, I'm going to give you a triangle theory. Shane Mosley fought Vernon Forrest and lost twice. If you haven't seen that fight, if you're young, if you haven't seen the fight, it's on YouTube. Watch both of the fights. And Shane Mosley was on top of the world. Nobody, casuals didn't know who Vernon Forrest was. I knew who he was. He was a decorated amateur, and he was avoided. And when he fought Shane Mosley, and this is after the 2 Oscar De La Hoya wins, he was on fire. He fights Shane Mosley, and he beat Shane Mosley's ass. That's what he did. He beat him bad. All right? Unanimous decision, both fights. Vernon Forrest's first showcase fight was against a guy named Ricardo Mayorga, and it was on HBO, and he lost by knockout. He lost by knockout, and we're like, how could this be? He rematched Mayorga, and Mayorga is not the best boxer. He swings wide. He's been stopped several times, but there was something about his style that Vernon Forrest, with all that height and reach, couldn't deal with. A few years later, Mayorga gets in the ring with Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley knocks him out. Do you know why? Shane Mosley could box, but you know what? He was also a hell of a fighter. Shane Mosley could fight. So his style didn't match well with Vernon Forrest. Because Vernon Forrest didn't, when he closed the distance, he was eating uppercuts and he was boxing him from the outside, using that reach. And then when Shane got on the inside, he was hitting him with body shots and uppercuts. Couldn't deal with him. But what happens when you have a wild dude that does everything wrong and has clubbing punches? Ricardo Mayorga was a strong dude. And he didn't throw straight punches. He threw wild hooks, but when they landed, they hurt. And Vernon didn't know how to deal with that. You understand? So what happens if Shakur gets baited into a fight? What happens if this guy says, no, he just chases Shakur down, and while Shakur is going into the clinch, he starts tagging him and throwing him all around the ring and being rough. Can Shakur change gears? Is he a fighter? We don't know. It's a possibility that William Zepada could bring that out of him. I'm saying we don't know. I'm not saying Shakur don't have it. Maybe we have to see if Shakur has another gear. We haven't seen him get touched yet. We haven't seen him hurt. We haven't seen him have to persevere. We've seen Devin do it. We've seen Floyd Mayweather do it. We've seen Manny Pacquiao do it. We've seen Juan Manuel Marquez do it. We've seen a lot of fighters do it. We haven't seen it from Shakur. So don't say that Shakur wipes the mat with Zepada. Not so fast. That's why it's an intriguing matchup. I hope it's next. Because we'll find out a lot about Zepada and we'll find out about Shakur. But salute to both fighters. They're home safe. Salute to Tevin. I know he feel like he got robbed. He put up a hell of a performance, and his stock rose tonight because nobody was talking about it at 135 until tonight. It was a split decision loss for him, but I'd like to see him again. No disrespect to him at all. And salute to William Zepada. I want to see him versus Shakur next because there's a lot of questions that I have, and I need them answered. But, we can agree to disagree, but y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Bronx on deck.
Move!